Arsenal are ready to make incredible player their fifth biggest signing ever. And Sporting Lisbon made a bombshell revelation about the departure of their £86 million star to the Emirates Stadium. Stay with me until the end of the video to understand everything happening behind the scenes at the Emirates Stadium. Love Arsenal as much as we do? Then don't wait another second. Subscribe to our channel now and be the first to know everything about the Premier League's greatest team. Hit that subscribe button and join our community of true Gunners fans. Now, let's jump into today's top news. Arsenal continue to be linked with a move for Benjamin Sesko. The RB Leipzig attacker is said to be a player the Gunners are very keen on, and their interest appears to be advancing. Indeed, the North London club could make their move for Sesko imminently, and according to Dean Jones, speaking on the Ranks FC Ultras podcast, Arsenal don't consider Sesko's £55 million release clause to be a problem. Arsenal ready to spend £55 million on Sesko. According to Jones, Arsenal don't see Sesko's £55 million price tag as an issue. I said earlier that there's no head-to-head between Arsenal and Chelsea over Victor Osimhen, but when it comes to Sesko they are both in that race and they both have reason to feel confident that they will be able to sign him. A £55 million release clause from RB Leipzig isn't considered to be an option for either side, Jones said. £55 million for Benjamin Sesko would make the striker one of the Gunners' biggest signings ever. Indeed, only Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, Nicolas Pepe and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang have ever arrived at Arsenal for larger fees. Of course, in the last few years, football transfers have gone to ridiculous levels, and valuations are higher than ever before, but the fact that Sesko will cost such a hefty fee just goes to show how much Arsenal do rate him. A huge outlay doesn't always guarantee success though. Nicolas Pepe cost Arsenal £72 million, and he was perhaps the biggest flop the Gunners have ever had. Hopefully, the incredible striker doesn't have the same fate as Pepe, and considering Arsenal's hit rate in terms of new signings in recent years, you'd fancy the Gunners to get this one right. Getting this deal done won't be easy. As Jones says, Chelsea are also interested, but if Arsenal can get this one over the line, it will be one of their most expensive signings ever. What has Fabrizio Romano said about Arsenal, Manchester United and Chelsea target Benjamin Sesko? Fabrizio Romano has now provided an update on the Sesko saga amid links with the Premier League trio. The most important thing for Benjamin Sesko is to decide upon first of all whether to accept RB Leipzig's proposal of a contract extension and bigger salary, Romano said to Caught Offside. He has to tell them his feelings before the Euros, and whether he will stay and extend or leave and try a new experience. Chelsea, Man United and Arsenal have presented their projects and all three clubs are waiting to hear from Benjamin Sesko. They all have different projects, different ideas, a different vision and obviously different plans as well as different kinds of proposals in terms of salary. I can guarantee to you that, as of today, Benjamin Sesko has still not decided where he will go. But he had some contacts with the clubs to understand about the projects and he will decide in the crucial days ahead. In terms of price tag, Florian Plettenberg of Sky Sport Germany recently claimed that Sesko has a €65 million, £55 million, release clause that must be activated by the end of June. Arsenal, Manchester United and Chelsea will all fancy their chances of signing the 21-year-old this summer. However, with so much competition for his services, they'll all need to put a really big effort in with regards to making the player feel wanted and offering big money. How Sporting Lisbon truly feel about letting Victor Gyökeres leave after links with Arsenal. The Gunners are scouring the market for new centre-forward options, and one player they're said to be very keen on is Victor Gyökeres. The Swedish striker has just had perhaps the best season of his career with Sporting in Portugal, and now there are some big clubs looking at him. Arsenal are said to be among the striker's main admirers, but unfortunately for Arsenal, Sporting aren't keen to sell. Indeed, speaking on the Transfers podcast, Sergio Cretinas has been discussing Gyökeres' future, and he says that the Portuguese champions will do all they can to keep hold of the striker. Sporting will do everything to keep Gyökeres. The journalist shared what he knows about the forward and how Sporting feel about letting him go. I think they will do whatever they can to keep Gyökeres for another season, but one thing is for sure, Amorim is staying, Cretinas said. Sporting may be willing to do anything they can to keep Gyökeres, but, in a lot of ways, they are powerless. The reality is that Gyökeres has a €100 million, £86 million, release clause, and if a club like Arsenal come in and trigger that clause, he will be free to leave. Of course, whether or not Arsenal do end up looking to spend that sort of money on a player like Gyökeres remains to be seen, But given how much Arsenal need a striker and how much they're said to admire the former Coventry City man, it wouldn't be a shock if the Gunners did indeed go in for him. Sporting want to keep hold of Gyökeres, but because of that release clause, there's still a chance he'll be on the move this summer. Arsenal have decided what they will do with Kai Havertz if they sign Benjamin Sesko. Arsenal have now decided what they will do with Kai Havertz if they sign RB Leipzig striker Benjamin Sesko this summer transfer window, according to a recent report. The Gunners are in the market for a striker this summer as they look to bridge the gap on title winners Manchester City, having finished 2 points behind them at the summit last term. It became pretty evident throughout the season that they're in need of a prolific number 9 as Gabriel Jesus isn't quite at the level required. Kai Havertz played in the role well, but many still feel an upgrade is needed. That said, it has just emerged what Arsenal's plan is if they are to sign Benjamin Sesko, who has been heavily linked with a move to North London. Benjamin Sesko would not be an immediate starter for Arsenal. According to Give Me Sport journalist Dean Jones, Sesko would not join Arsenal as an immediate starter. Sources have explained to GMS that Arsenal would not see him as a guaranteed starter and that Kai Havertz would remain as the first-choice central attacker for the beginning of the season, Jones wrote. That plan seems like somewhat of a risk, and that's because if this news filters through to Sesko, he'll certainly have reservations about a move to Arsenal and may instead prefer to join another side who are eager to make him their talisman. Though, it shows Arsenal's resounding trust in Havertz. Benjamin Sesko statistics. The 21-year-old netted 18 times whilst laying on 2 assists for the Bundesliga club last term and ended the season really strongly. Sesko's underlying statistics also make for very impressive reading as he ranks in the top 4% for non-penalty goals compared to his positional peers across Europe, as per FBref. Further, he sits in the top 3% for blocks and top 9% for clearances, evincing the proficient defensive side of his game. If Arsenal are to sign him, he'd be a very promising addition, but it seems he won't be replacing Havertz in the number 9 role for the short term. Arsenal make Amadou Onana transfer decision. The summer transfer window is just around the corner and Arsenal continue to be linked with some high-profile signings for the midfield. One of those is Everton and Belgium star Amadou Onana, who has impressed since moving to the Premier League. With an ability to shore up the midfield with his defensive presence, and at just 22 years old, plenty of top teams have been linked. However, while Arsenal were claimed to have opened talks over a possible transfer for Onana, the latest update may distance them from that deal. A report from the Mirror has stated that the Gunners are no longer pursuing a move for the Belgian international this summer. One midfielder definitely not joining is Everton's Amadou Onana, who was also linked in January, but that caused raised eyebrows back then and is still not on the radar now because he is not the type of midfielder they want, claimed journalist John Cross. It remains to be seen whether anyone else will be linked with a midfield move to Arsenal. Well folks, those were the main news for today. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated on everything happening with our beloved team, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any updates. Thanks for joining us, and until the next video.